Jeanette used to be a graphic designer when she was in college and out of school. She doesn't do anything now.
Right.
So she did SBA flyer. She started that
Okay.
in Canva.
Let me see.
And then you're doing the holiday decorations.
Yes. And I just changed the information on that one. So, I mean, I tried to stick a little graphic over there, like we had the spider web, but it just was a lot. So, I mean, we can add something here. We just have to like tone down the opaqueness by a lot. And you have to tell me what you'd want kind of in the background. Like,
I can't think of anything to put that wouldn't be too.
Like one way or the other. Yeah.
Right now, those are just balls, green space, and lights.
Yeah, just some.
I like that because I'm like, I was going back and forth, like, do I want to walk the flyers around for pie? No.
Right.
Do I want to walk flyers around for this? I'm like, people got the hint, and they were telling their friends and neighbors. So I was thinking, this time I only post stuff on social media.
Okay.
But I'm like, what are you feeling? Like, I'm guessing you probably want to walk those around.
I don't mind. I should be walking. I should be walking more. I should be getting exercise. So especially if it's for work, I have no excuse not to do it. So if you say that's what is in your mind and your vision, I'm not gonna turn my nose up at it. I like a good challenge.
Because we only had like 5 people register this time around. Like when more people play, if now they're like, oh yeah, we saw these before.
Right.
That was neat.
Did it get a lot of reaction online? Did you feel like? Not really.
No, like because we had one site going and we're trying to grow more people on the social group for our neighborhood, and there's probably only like 30 people on that one so far. And there's another one with like 400 people on it, and so some people were like, "Oh yeah, those lights are nice," but I would say probably like 5 people engaged.
Right.
Like there were probably 4 people that put their own pictures up, and a couple more that just commented on them.
Right.
So I didn't get the email addresses I wanted.
Right.
Of course, then put the ones I didn't get the database yet.
That's okay. Then if you pass those on to me, I can do it.
What did we spend? We did them 4 up or 6 up a page.
I think it was 4,
they were
6.
small.
They were pretty small, so you could get 6 on a page. There's no way you couldn't. Do I still have it? Let me see. I might still have the thing here. What?
Okay.
You've got
Can we put up
deals,
a
call
site?
some of those agents and have a conversation.
Yep.
Hey, Brenda's on my team. We don't, yeah, we're kicking butt and taking numbers, right?
That's right.
It's IRCsalessolutions.com.
How was your closing? Did you have closing
Insights.
today? It's, okay.
Slash
That's what
sales
I'm
dash
thinking,
follow up.
Going out afterwards. That's true. I was like, look at that.
Yes, we are.
Love it.
This closing out is every dime.
Oh, girl, what time
And I
is
just
that?
click the X on the mailing list.
Right, I will be lifting up some serious movement.
It
And
was a
scroll
long
down.
time
We couldn't find the page you're looking for.
All right, good.
Let's look at what does it say?
This too shall pass.
This was a
Sales.
special.
2 S's.
Yeah.
.com/insights.
Oh,
No, but you were gonna have more.
right on. Oh, okay. Maybe you were just saying you were high and then moving on. I didn't know if you needed to know. Oh, the rate?
There we go. And then scroll down a little bit.
Oh, we were
A little bit higher. Right there. Are you gonna be in the class?
It was This is Friday. It was already starting to rain, but that's not. Okay, we're getting ready to run.
Can people hear me?
Yes.
I know you can.
Hold on, let's see, hang on.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, Brandon, okay, thank you, Brandon. Brandon, one person responded. Come here, Mom.
Yeah.
How many, I wanna see how many people are. What the thing won't work. Well, you're gonna have to stop sharing the screen. So now, if I go here, right here, in the chat.
Well, I meant to tell you, she's
We're
gorgeous.
sharing the screen.
Isn't it beautiful?
Okay. Oh,
I meant to tell
this
you.
is how many people are. How many? 5, okay, go back.
Is that homecoming?
Yes.
We barely made the sunset. Well, it was pretty much done. And then by the time we got down to the lake, yeah.
You good? You good, Barry?
I'm good.
All right.
Are we good?
No, it's before
Yes.
time change.
You
It just takes a long
go
time,
ahead and
right?
try. Sit and take girls.
Okay.
Yes,
Let's
yes.
close the door.
Good morning.
Oh, he just slammed the door.
Oh. Oh, is there somebody there?
He was waiting.
Oh. Yes, you are.
That
You
was
are.
hilarious. It was like perfect timing.
Dennis. He doesn't need to take this class. He's pretty good at it. Okay, everybody can hear me? You can hear me online?
They can hear you. Yes.
I guess, okay. Okay, thanks. Okay, thank you. Do me a favor, let me know if somebody's saying something to me while my back is right here, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming to my Fortune in the Follow-Up class. What do you think we're gonna talk about today?
Follow up.
All up.
Oh, look at that. So what is the most important thing that we do as agents?
Follow up.
No,
Jen?
lead gen,
There we go.
lead gen, right? Can't follow up if you don't have anybody to follow up. What's the second most important thing we do?
Follow up.
Okay, I'll buy that. So yes, we spend lots of time, certainly lots of money, right? Because in lead generation, whether that's time on the phone or mailings or open houses and all that kind of stuff, trying to get people. And what happened? Who here does open houses? Okay, fantastic. And you have a sign-in sheet?
Yep.
Okay, and what happens to that sign-up sheet after you're done?
You closed the book and said, I'm gonna follow up with these potential leads. And your week gets started and you're like, oh darn.
Right.
Yeah.
Turn my
Thank
back
you
on
for
her.
your honesty.
Ah.
Because that's what happens.
Go
I'm like, how
ahead
did I
and
forget
talk
this?
about
Those were
it.
two great leads.
Now I don't close the book, I leave it on.
Who has done an open house and still has a sheet of paper they have yet to put into their
Oh,
database?
no. Really? Wow.
Okay?
See, newbie, he knows what to do. He
Shame
said,
on y'all. Shame.
I have a feeling I'm gonna break this and fall on my butt. Okay, so, right, so we spend all that time and energy, right? And maybe we meet somebody and we get excited about that lead or that prospect, and these other people came through and maybe we didn't get to talk to them, or maybe we had a brief conversation, we didn't get to qualify them, and so they kind of sit in that pile, right? Who has a bunch of business cards sitting on their desk, not their
Yes.
own,
yes,
other people's business
Yes.
cards that they've gotten, right?
yes.
Right, from vendors that come through, right? So-
They're just over there.
Yeah, they're a pile, and then what mine do is they work their way to the edge of the desk and they fall behind.
And never did you see anything.
And right, now, let me ask you this, of all those people you got their business card from, how many of them have called you? None, one maybe, right? So they're doing all this lead generation and there's no follow-up, right? So clearly, unless you're gonna meet a bunch of people and then just hope that they respond to you when they need you, right? And of course, the challenge is with real estate, yeah, come on in.
Rusty,
Come on, Rusty.
Oh, Rusty.
He's partying.
I'll have to do the fortune is in the being on time class next.
Sorry, guys.
He's grinding.
So the point is though, is that, if you're making all of this effort and you're spending this time and this energy and you don't have a process to do this follow-up, right? So after open houses, you should take this sheet of paper and you should put it into your database, right? And then maybe you might want to,
Follow up.
whatever, maybe write them a note,
Right.
Maybe call them. It was great. Thanks for coming by. Right. That's for open houses. What do you do if you're, you know, just out prospecting and you're in the grocery store and you're wearing your name badge and somebody says, Brenda, oh, you're a real estate agent, you know? And what do you say?
Yeah. Yes, I am. How can I help you?
That's right. That's right. And they may say, well, you know, I don't know, whatever. You give them a card, right? John, make sure you ask for it. You know, can I just text you really quickly and I'll have your number on my phone, right? See, the bad thing about business cards is nobody really uses them or keeps them, and they're closed-end one-way communications, right? I mean, I give business cards out to people, but I really don't want that to be my introduction, right? Because here, I'll give you my card. Well, what, they're not going to give me a card unless they have something that, well, I'm in, you know, insurance sales, or I fix, you know, driveways or whatever. But if they're a school teacher, they're not going to have a business card on them, right? And so now I don't have any way to follow up, right? So thinking about how do I interact with this individual? How do I get the, you know, get a chance to do a follow-up? Now, when you're going to follow up, what's really important about doing that follow-up?
Following through.
Okay, well,
Well,
yes, but that timeliness, right? It was great meeting you in January, as I send that out on November 8th, right? Right? Because I just found the business card. Now, you can have some fun with that and say, hi, Brenda, you're probably not going to remember me, but I just found your business card, or I just found your information. My bad, but I did want to at least reach out and say it was great meeting you a year ago, right? She'll probably respond to that better than she would great meeting you yesterday, or yeah, whatever, you know, because so that's not a bad thing, right? That's not a bad thing. I mean, it's better to follow up than not follow up, right? This is fun. Right, people? Right. Okay. I'm looking at, I don't know who can see what, but
Yes.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Eric. So, again, now if you've got 100 people in a database, what percentage of that database should you expect to get some business out of?
10%.
All right, you can't play. You can't play. 10%, right? Does that mean the other 90% is not worth anything? No, because over time, that 90% will be one of those 10%. So 10% is what you might expect in a given rolling period, let's say of a year, right? So if you want to do a bunch of deals, you obviously need to scale your database to determine how many you want to have. And that's also if your database is giving you 10%, right? You should know these statistics because you're monitoring and tracking this.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes, you may.
Shut my mouth.
That's okay.
So it's 10% if you do the minimum. It is 16% if you have a far deeper relationship with them.
16?
16.
16.
Oh, 16.
16%.
So
That's 16 closings out of 100.
that's a 60% improvement.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you can make any statistic sound good.
Right. I like that.
But the point is you don't know. Now, the other part of this is for every person that you do a deal with, what's the opportunity from that person?
You can get a referral.
You can get a referral or a repeat piece of business,
Yeah.
right? So you can track the way that this works, right? One client may be responsible for 5, 10 plus pieces of business. We've certainly had that in our world, in my business, right? You know, and those are your raving fans, right? And those are the people you want to take good care of. Now, when you're doing follow-up, you know, when somebody comes in as a lead, whether it's through an internet lead or a Zillow lead or an open house lead or a referral or somebody you meet, what is the first thing to do is to acknowledge them, right, and follow up with them. But then what do you do from that point forward? You can put them on a, what did you say earlier?
Smart plan.
A smart plan, right? But here's something that's important to understand. You can't build a relationship through email and text, okay? You can maintain awareness to a certain extent, but you've got to You've got to get a person-to-person interaction or a call, right? If you can get lunch, if you can get coffee, if you can meet with these people, right, and build that relationship, you can maintain that relationship through your campaigns, right? Touch points. But ultimately, you cannot start, that relationship is rarely going to really start. Okay, there are some exceptions with internet type leads and how you might do that. And if somebody is looking to transact, right? If they're like, I need to buy a house, I need to buy it now. And Adriana is the one that responded and they're ready to go, right? You don't have really a relationship, but you do have a transaction that's in place. And then hopefully you can build a relationship over time so that that transaction turns into referrals or repeat business or whatever else it does. Make sense? Okay. So what are some key things that you could do follow-ups around? Like, why would I, if I want to follow up with Michelle 5 times a year, when would I follow up with her? Birthday, perfect. Do you know the birthday of all your clients? No, of course not. How do you find out the birthday of all your clients?
Ask them.
You can ask them, Facebook. There's a lot of evidence out there, right? Particularly around birthdays. People are not shy. If they're social media people, it's going to be everywhere, right? Now, if I know that your birthday is, what's your birthday?
January 30th.
January 30th? What do I want to do with that piece of information?
Oh, under 26, no wonder. Are you?
On the 21st.
I'm
February 8th.
I don't want to interrupt this little love fest that's going on here.
I would be recorded.
Because I'm a tourist, so everybody be quiet. Now, what am I going to do with that piece of information? Put them in my database, right? And I might have an automated follow-up. Now, I also put it on my calendar. I put all my clients in my calendar. Bill's birthday, right? So that, I come into work on that day. Maybe it's on a Sunday, I didn't get to it, but hey, happy belated birthday or whatever it is, right? So birthday is very good. What's another good follow-up point?
Home anniversary,
Home anniversary. Now, why is that important?
because people move about every 7 to 8 years. And so therefore, if you continue to follow up on the anniversaries, likely that at some point they're ready to sell.
So when we have limited inventory and we're looking for houses, who are good potential candidates?
People who have an anniversary.
People who have bought 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. Now, everybody likes to get the, oh, it's my 3-year home anniversary, right? Because nobody remembers the day they bought their house. And that's fine, everything, but it's really more information for you. Hey, you've been in that house. Or, you know what, I sold that house 5 years ago, now they have 3 kids. I wonder if they are thinking, right? This is good data for you, right? To reach out and say, or you might just say, I remember you used an FHA loan, rates have dropped. Have you looked into refinancing, right? That's being helpful. So home anniversaries. What's another good follow-up?
Holidays.
Holidays, beautiful. If only we had some.
Right.
So holidays. Now, I guarantee you that there's going to be about 9 million happy Thanksgiving emails that go out in 2 weeks on Wednesday from real estate agents, right? With a little turkey and a little fall, and that's fine, right? But you can do that, or you can create something a little bit different. You might send something the day after Thanksgiving, right? Well, I hope your Thanksgiving was wonderful, right?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to take offense on that. You didn't email them on the day that they were absolutely not checking their email.
Pizza Appreciation Day.
What is it?
The day after Thanksgiving's Pizza Appreciation.
Pizza Appreciation Day. So holidays.
That's good because.
And if you work in ethnic groups that have, different types of holidays, recognizing them, being aware of that. Didn't you just recently have the Day of the Dead?
Tell me again.
Wasn't there a Day of the Dead?
Yeah, All Souls Day.
I think,
Yeah,
November 4th.
November 4th?
No, first. Oh, I'm doing
Oh,
Sorry,
Diwali,
November
whatever.
2nd.
So, different cultures have different holidays,
But it's
so,
not my culture.
okay, it's not your,
Mexico.
oh, okay, I didn't realize that, because I knew it was in
No,
Puerto Rico.
no,
too.
Mexico
that's
celebrated the other one.
Okay.
No
Which is
Colombia.
November 2nd. 'Cause-
No.
Luciana.
All saints days. All saints days.
My bad. All right, back. Holidays, right? Okay. What else? What's another one?
Birth of a baby.
Baby, children stuff.
Yeah.
If you've got kids in school, right? Or milestones, graduation, driver's licenses, birthdays, bar mitzvahs, christenings, baptisms, births, right? I have a client who's about to give birth, right? They're expecting a baby. So I sent him a call. I was like, hey, I'm just curious if the baby came and what'd you have? And you know, they didn't tell me yet, but you know, and sometimes we'll send them a little gift card or we'll just send them, it depends on the client, but that's great, right? Follow up, these are touch points, right? Am I asking them, do they want to move?
No.
No.
Just stay on top.
I'm staying top of mind, right? Now, you can be top of mind and and then somebody will use another agent. So you got to ask the question that's integrated with this, right? But you don't want to do, you know, congratulations on the baptism of your child. Are you thinking of moving? Okay. Yeah, you know, but on, you know, whatever a particular thing is. So don't forget what your purpose of your follow-up is. Your purpose is to try to generate referrals or business, but staying top of mind. Let me see what else I have. Now, if you have a client, they're a past client, or you closed on them, in October, right? When's your next follow-up?
Not next October.
Not next October?
No.
Well,
Not-
yeah, it would be in addition.
Well, no, what's your next follow-up?
See how they like that.
I follow up within 10 days.
Or less.
Oh, you want a time frame, sorry.
Well, I'm saying, so somebody closes October 31st, I'm gonna check in, if I know they're moving in. Hey, just checking in, want to see you getting settled, how's everything, right? Fantastic. Now, because we're at the end of the year, right? For me, in December is when I send out my Homestead Reminders. Okay? Now, some people do them different times, whatever. I do all of mine in December. If you bought a house in January, I send it to you in December. If you bought a house, actually, if you bought a house in November, I won't do it in December because they probably don't have the title back, but I'll do it in January, the last quarter. But I send that out, right? Homestead tax exemption reminders. And then how often would you want to follow up with that client, that newly closed client on an average?
At least quarterly.
At least quarterly. Just a touch, and they're not going to buy anything. This is not for that. This is now to take that relationship and solidify it, right? Because here's something I had to learn that was painful, particularly with business I closed that was internet driven, Zillow driven. You are in their life intensely for about 60 to 90 days. And then they bought, and you are no longer in their life. But I'm like, but I love you. You know, you bought a $600,000 house. I want to be in your world forever. And they're like, yeah, we got you on the internet and you know, that was all great and good. We're done. So I've got to work harder to maintain my presence in their world. And I'm gonna tell you, I'd say at least 50%, I don't ever hear from them. But I keep hitting them. Okay. I keep sending to them. And I just got a referral 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. Get a phone call from a client of mine, past client of mine, who I have been calling for 5 years. I rarely ever speak to her husband. I never hear from her. She calls me, Barry, it's Catherine. Yeah, I'm here with John, my coworker. We're in a condo and he wants to make an offer. Okay. Right? You know, etc. So long story short, it didn't work out. The condo went under contract with somebody else. But anyway, so when I was meeting with him to establish our relationship and talk about what we do next, and he's like, oh, Catherine, they love you. They talk about you. She couldn't say, and I've never talked, I talk to her once every 2 years, right? But they hear from me, right? They know me. Monica, some of you, and you know too. You know, Monica. Right.
That's how we became so close.
Wow.
Mutual friends. Right. Day one.
Such a small world. Okay.
Yeah, when I got into real estate, she's like, my agent still sends me notes. And then when I found out who it was, you're like, oh yeah, how are her kids. You knew their kids
Yes.
from what, 7 or 8 years ago when you sold?
Well,
them?
she only had one when I met him.
Oh.
Yeah, and then
And
little
now
Dougie,
you know
then
more.
little Dougie came along. And now they're like in second or third or something. All right. So follow up. You've got to have a system to do this, right? So the hard part is, how many people, okay, in bold, we're learning the D2, DT, does everybody know what that is?
Yes.
Which is basically, they've come up with very easily, a schedule of the alphabet, right? Every week they pick 2 letters and those are the people you call. It's 26 letters, 13 weeks, right? 13 groups, 13 weeks and a quarter, works out real nicely. Okay, and that's how you do it. One of the biggest challenges people do with their follow-up is they have some sort of sequential follow-up, right? I start on the A's or I'm gonna start on the whatever, and you always get through D.
You know.
And then you, right, and E through Z is just orphaned, right? Or they start on Z and, you know, you work your way to S and the rest, okay? You have to have a systematic, now, doing the DT, D2 is a good thing if you don't have a process built in, right? Or an idea of who to call. But ultimately, every time you speak with somebody, they should get their own follow-up date that's appropriate for whatever their conversation is. If I leave a message for somebody, like this client that I haven't spoken to, I'll follow up with them 3 to 4 times a year, right? I'll make a phone call. They're already on a plan, a campaign, a drip, or whatever. But I'll make a phone call with them 3 or 4 times a year. If I talk to somebody and they say, well, you know, yeah, we came on your website back in June. We thought we might move. I think we're going to sit tight for another year or 2. I don't see us making any moves. Fantastic. Would it be okay with you if I check back with you in 6 months, 12 months, a year, 2 years? Some people say 2 years. I said, I'll be selling houses in 2 years. I'll call you in 2 years. They're like, sure, right? I mean, what's no skin off, right? And then when am I going to call them? Well, I'm actually gonna call them sooner than 2 years, but yes, I'm gonna put it out there, right? Because I'm gonna need somebody to call 2 years from today. So all of those should have dates in your database for follow-up. When you speak to somebody, once you've made a connection, either you've talked to them or you've communicated with them by text or email or something, they should have an assigned follow-up date. Now, there's many people that you will get lead-wise and you will not speak with them, right? You leave message, then you just have to put them on some sort of follow-up, depending on how much you want to do. The earlier in the process that you're to getting that lead, the more often you want to call. So in the beginning, you might want to call once a week, right? If depending on what they said in their initial response. If it's like, I'm looking to buy a house by the end of the year, I'm on that puppy. I'm calling them today. Today's Monday. I'll call them on Thursday, right? I might call them on Friday. We'll see what happens. I'll send them texts, right? I'm going to bombard them. Now we'll get into some controversial stuff in a minute. Yes, sir.
So when you're bombarding them,
Yes.
you're doing, hey Barry, I'm not gonna be selling your house until December of 2022. Thanks for calling. So that's a year out, year plus.
Yeah.
You're gonna be. You said you're gonna be calling them once a week.
No. The whole point of the phone call is to get the conversation.
Okay.
Now you tell me I'm going to be selling at the end of next year.
Okay.
Okay. We'll accelerate this. Now, let's just assume you don't have an agent. You'll be thinking about that
Right.
point. Great. Can I follow up with you in the fall of next year?
Mhm.
And then I'm going to call them August or September.
Okay.
Whenever somebody tells you to follow up, unless it's like, go call me today, call me tomorrow, I'm not talking about that, but when they give you an extended time frame, cut 3 to 6 months off it.
Okay.
Because you'll wait till the day they called and it'll be sold. Okay, and if it's longer, big deal. But so if they said December, I'm gonna list my house, I'm calling them in September. Touch base.
If you had someone that says, I'm not gonna be selling for another 2 months, maybe 6 months.
2 6 months,
How often would you contact them?
Well, if I would say, first of all, there's a big difference between 2 and 6 months. If you're gonna sell in 2 months,
Let's say 6 months.
6 months from now,
Yeah.
like I just got off the phone with them, it's November 8th, whatever it is. I'm gonna call you right after the holidays.
Okay, so after December.
Yeah, let's touch base after the holidays. Market will be coming back. Let's touch base. Because what do I need to do? You're gonna sell your house. I need to get out there and see it. Maybe you've got some work you need to do, right? More importantly, maybe you're thinking of doing some work that you don't need to do, right? So I want to save you money, right? I don't want you doing a whole bunch of work, and I tell you, it really is not going to bring anything to your bottom line. So let me come out in January. We'll take a look, and then we can put a plan together for you to list March 1. How's that sound? Right? I mean, always you got to bring something of value to the conversation. Okay, make sense? All right. How many times should you follow up?
Well, it depends.
Okay.
I was,
What does it depend on?
When my clients, for example, sometimes out of the box, I mean, they don't have money. I mean, it's not, I can't do anything right away. In that case, I keep calling them, once in a while, but no.
All right. Let me clarify something here. I'm talking, this is, the whole premise of the follow-up is based on getting to the client for the first time or the second time. Once you've had a conversation and they say, I can't buy because I have bad credit or I don't have a down payment, that initiates a set of follow-ups based on what they're telling you. What I'm talking about, what we're really trying to follow or focus on here is you've got the name of somebody and you haven't talked to them, right? So I just had a client the other day say, hey, I gave your name to a friend of mine at work. And then, now, I can't follow up, right? I'm like begging, do you have his number? Do you have a, right? Because I want the number, the information. But let's say I got that number, right? And he says, great, call Steve at 12345. And I leave a message for Steve. Hey, Steve, Bill at work gave me, past client, I'm Barry, blah, blah, blah. I'm just following up with you. How many times, not how often, but how many times would I follow up with that person?
Until they tell you not to follow up with them.
Okay, well, I'm on board with that. Did everybody hear that? Did you hear that out there?
No, I hear it. Until they tell you.
Until they tell you not to follow up.
I tell you to buzz off.
Keep following.
That's one thing. So one of the things is, can you all see out here this website that I have on the screen? Eric, can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so I found this looking around. So not following up can cost you. It takes 80% of sales are made in the 5th to the 12th contact.
That's a lot.
90% of salespeople, not agents, salespeople will stop after the first or second phone call. Wow. All right, left a message, didn't hear from you, I'm moving on. Now, when somebody doesn't return your message or respond to you, what does that mean?
They're not ready. I'm frustrated.
What?
They're busy.
What did you say?
I'm frustrated.
You're frustrated? It means they don't have a need for what you're offering them right now. It doesn't mean they don't need to sell a house at some point. Maybe they're not in the conversation, right? They reached out or they got connected, but they're not ready, or they're busy, or it's the holidays, or it's a birthday, or they're having a child, or whatever's happening, right? They haven't said to you, don't call me. They just said, it's not important to me, right? Believe it or not, nobody wakes up in the morning and says, what can I do for Barry or Brenda, right? They're doing their life. So you leave a message. Most people give up after one attempt.
That's pretty sad.
Yeah, it's beautiful though. It's how I make a living. I make a living on other people giving up after one attempt.
Right.
I make a living on people who don't ask for buyer's agreements. When emails or phone calls are ignored, 40% of people give up after 1 or 10. 80% of salespeople follow up, 8%, 5 or more times. Now, I have a little philosophy that not everybody subscribes to, but a no isn't a no until the restraining order is issued. Okay? When I get somebody goes into and opts out of my emails, or they block my text, or they say stop, I will consider No. Here's what I will do. When somebody says stop reaching out to me, we actually have, I will send a response. And just say, it says something along the lines of, I've received your thing, I'm sorry. Would there be is it possible for me to check back with you in the future? Is that a stop now? Is that a stop, I'm never gonna buy a house? If they don't reply, okay, I stop, right? Because I'm gonna respect that. But sometimes you get people who say, it's okay to check back with me in 6 months or a year, or okay. And what they've done is instead of locking the door, they've just closed it, right? And then they go back on my whatever follow-up.
So if that person tells you like, check back in 6 months, do you also do that cutoff 3 months thing, or do you just do 6 months?
It all depends. It just depends. It depends. If they say I'm gonna buy in 6 months, then I'm calling in 3. If they say it's okay to check back in 6, I'll check back in 4 or 5. Something like that. Nobody knows when you call. Nobody's gonna say, I said 6 and it's 4. Nobody knows. Everybody thinks that everybody knows what you're doing. Nobody knows, nobody cares.
No, they're not tracking it?
No, shockingly. Except for the people with the car warranties. Let me tell you something. You want an exercise in this methodology? Because how many times do you say no? But they must be selling car warranties or they wouldn't be out there. Right? It's all here. This is car warranties probably out here. Okay, makes sense? Everybody good? According to a study by Brevet, 80% of sales require an average of 5 follow-ups in order to close the deal. However, 44% of sales reps follow up with a prospect only once before giving up. After 4 follow-ups, 94% of salespeople have given up. That's just a different set of statistics, but you get the idea. What's the number 1 reason why a prospect won't get back to you?
They're not ready.
It's because they're busy. It's not because they're not interested, right? How many times do you find on your mailbox cleaning people sticking a mail tree? Tree's a great example. I don't need a tree guy until I need a tree guy. And then I need him when?
No.
Right. They're not stupid. They know that you're not just gonna go, nothing to do this weekend, let's take down some trees. They know that when the thing falls down and it either cuts your house in half or falls in your yard,
No.
I'm gonna need somebody.
Like, yeah, immediately.
Right. They're not looking for, they know that their business is gonna come during certain times, right? Okay. Every time you do a follow-up with somebody, you need to provide what?
Value, right? Okay, I'm not talking anymore. I just kind of.
Thank you. Right. Something of value, right? Don't just say, can you call me because I'm looking for leads? Now, it's okay to say, if you know of anybody, but I'd love to touch base. It's been a while. Would you like an updated CMA? I'm just checking in. Who does home warranties here? Who puts home warranties on houses?
Right now,
Nobody? Nobody puts a home warranty on a house?
I've never heard of that.
Excuse me?
Excuse me?
I've never heard of an agent making a home warranty.
Well, I'm saying, how many, do you order home warranties for clients?
Yes.
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 Okay,
Sure. When I get to that point.
okay.
Yeah,
Every buyer I have gets a home warranty.
yes.
I don't pay
Yes.
for it.
Yeah.
So what happens is, what do the home warranty companies do? They send you an email when they do a service call. We just saved your client at 123 Main Street $10 million on replacing their hot water heater. Hey, Adrian, it's Barry over. I got a notice that you had a hot water heater problem.
Yeah.
How's it going? How you enjoying that hot water? Did it all work okay? Isn't it a good thing we got that home warranty? Isn't it a really good thing I negotiated for the seller to pay for it? I'm the best. Who do you know? Right? It's an opportunity, right? What's going on? That you see that they had 3 air conditioning calls over the summer. I saw you had 3 air conditioning calls. Would you like the name of my HVAC guy? It might be time to replace the system, right? That thing is obviously band-aided together. Are you providing value? Are you doing follow-up? Is anybody else doing that? Does anybody else know about it? No. These are opportunities. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions out there? Nope. No. Not a single one.
So.
Please, Brenda.
So on average, what would you recommend a good follow-up guide? Like timing? I know
Sure.
we do the quarterly, but I guess it does depend.
Depends on who what the lead is. Who are they? Right? If I've got a lead that comes in on the internet, so we have an automated system. So all of this much of this needs to be leveraged in the beginning, right? So we have you come in, right? You find me on Google, you come into the database talks to you immediately. Thanks for finding us on Google. How can we help you? Where are you looking? Right? They may get 3 or 4 emails or texts before I've even gotten to there. Then Monday morning comes in. This morning I'm looking through. There's a lead. Hello. Leave a message. Whatever it is. Right. So in the beginning, because the whole purpose of this is to get them to raise their hand to respond. Stop. I'm not looking. I told you this story. Call this lead. And it's a 12-year-old girl, you know, and she's like, well, I was bored, so I went on your website, but I'm 12 years old. So I'm gonna call you 9 years. Okay, so, you know, but make the phone call, right? You figure out what their thing is. If after 10, so their initial in our system is 10 days. There's a system over 10 days that they get 7, 8, 9 communications, plus whatever I'm doing. Right? Then some of them respond back and say, I'm looking in Marietta. Fantastic, right? They raise their hand. What's your price range? I'll ask them whatever questions. Now we move them to an active search. They go on a different campaign, and now they're asked more questions. And obviously I'm trying to get them on the phone. When can we talk? When can we talk? Or what's your time frame? I'm buying summer of 22. Great. I'm probably going to put them on well, I do 2 things. I always check their search activity about every 10 days to 2 weeks. I want to see if they're getting and looking at them. But really, probably my follow-up at this point in the year would be January. Hey, we're after the holidays. You came on my website back in November. Just wanted to check. You mentioned the summer. Believe it or not, that's going to be here before we know it. When can we talk? And now I'm going to try to engage with them, you know, whatever I can. Past clients, they're on a different set of campaign, quarterly. Birthdays, any kind of life events. We're doing a pie giveaway in 2 weeks. So they got all invites on that. You know, now I can do a bunch of follow-ups to, hey, you haven't RSVP'd. Hey, you're coming. That's awesome. Whatever, you know, I can follow up all around events. What other kind of prospects are there?
Like in terms of time frame type of prospects?
No, in terms of like type of prospects. So we have leads, we have Sphere.
Oh,
Your business,
circuit prospecting,
No, that's a methodology.
like a business, like dry cleaners, nail salons.
Vendors, exactly.
Vendors, that's what I was trying.
Right? Are vendors in your database? We're doing a pie giveaway. Who did I invite? I invited my inspector, I invited my lender, I invited my closing attorney. I'm gonna give them a pie. Right? I want to be their most favorite agent. Right? Who do you got? Now, you know, you figure out, yeah, I'll be right there. Arthurine. You know, put these people in your database. Are you getting it? And this is a different conversation, but every one of your partners that you give business to should be getting something back. I don't know what that is. I know what it is for us. Are they giving you referrals? Are they giving you leads? Are they giving you a break on something? Are they partnering with you in your events, right? Why would you just give business to other people and not have an expectation of getting something back? I don't know. I mean, I don't. Yes, dynamic duo.
Oh, that was whatever she wanted to ask about. Did your pies?
Oh, where do we get our pies? Ask Lisa. I have no idea.
Let's see leverage.
Yes.
He doesn't know these things. He has leverage.
Don't know. They show up. I hand them out.
Just
Yeah, I
trying
get
to
it.
understand the whole pie thing. So are you actually physically delivering to each of your prospects?
No, because that would be, yeah, that was.
No.
Right?
So how do you do it?
We will set up a table in the parking lot, and we will have it. And they're coming between 3 and 6, and it's a drive-by pie Last year, when during COVID, we were like, yeah. But no,
So they're RSVP.
there are RSVP. So we sent out an e-bite to,
Okay.
I don't know how many people,
That's
200
a cool
people.
idea.
We'll probably have 40 or 50,
Yeah,
and they'll just drive by and we'll give them a pie and we'll say thank you. And that's fun.
Are we giving out the pies or are we doing pies to the faces?
No. We're giving out the pies and then I duck.
Okay, just checking.
I don't want the pie coming back. No whipped cream on any of the pies. But a couple of years ago, we did the pumpkin giveaway. People come and pick up a pumpkin, but that's too difficult and they're heavy. All right, but these are ideas, right? These are contact points. These to solidify. All right. So we talked about providing value. How we doing? So clearly define the next steps in the process with the process. So here's the thing that agents do not do. Okay. Here's what people don't do that I see a lot. First of all, you always need to ask for the business. Don't assume because I've given them a pie and I've sent them a card on their kid's birthday that they don't go, you are the most awesome agent out there, but we listed with our other friend. I always tell people, I can't tell you how many times years ago, particularly I would be taking a listing in a kitchen while there were magnets and calendars of other agents on their refrigerator. When they say, would you like some water? And they'd be holding the glass, staring at the magnet and calendar from the other agent. I'm like, absolutely. I'm loving life, right? Because that's not follow-up. That's passive marketing. You think because you did something nice that they owe you their life. But I sent you a football calendar every year. But somebody asked me. So you always need to ask for the business, right? In some way, shape, or form. If you do not ask, you will not get. Also, defining the next step in the process. When you talk to somebody, when is a good time for me to speak with you next? Let them tell you. Now, again, if you don't get to speak with them, then you have to put this quarterly, weekly, whatever definition in place, right? Now, don't be obnoxious in your follow-up. Don't call them 4 times in a day, right? But be persistent. They came to you, right? Again, I'm kind of using like internet leads. They come on my website. You knocked on my door, right? Now you're in my world, right? So I'm just trying to be the good person to respond to your needs, even though you didn't really want me to. I don't care, right? So be persistent, but be consistent.
That's the key, the consistent part. That's my challenge is, I have referrals, like friends or family may just send me someone, hey, Janice was thinking about buying. I told her you're, in Atlanta, they're out there. And I drop the ball sometimes when I call them and talk a couple of times.
Right.
But I failed to put them in my system to give me a callback time. That's where I'm challenged at making sure I enter them in my database and actually put a task for me to remember.
So who here makes phone calls and then writes down all the information on a piece of paper?
I do do my notes.
Me.
Why are you doing that, folks?
I know.
To remember what we talked about.
What's that?
To remember what we talked about.
Yes, but why are you not typing it directly into your database while you're talking with them?
I do.
That's a good question.
Okay, I'm glad I asked one.
And that's, I think,
Guys,
most
if
people-
you take notes on pieces of paper, and then you get to, now that's okay in this class.
But there are notes
I
in here
know.
that I don't even remember taking.
Right.
Because I took them
Right.
and then this.
And
gets
there's your
lost
open
in the
house sheet
pile
from
of
a month
paper.
ago, and there's your business card from 3 months ago. Guys, don't make this harder. I'm on the phone, I'm typing in notes. When I'm out with a prospect and I don't have my computer, I just do an email to myself. I'm typing on an email. It doesn't have to be, I'm just typing that. Mandy wants to buy in 6 months, needs lender, Marietta 350. That email comes to me, I just copy and paste, stick it in the CRM. Guys, don't make this harder. Notebooks and backs of business cards and matchbooks in the old day and, coasters. You got
Napkins.
napkins.
Don't act like you're in a restaurant.
I was mastering that.
You were mastering that?
Yeah.
Napkins.
Yeah, and right. So, guys, if you build this muscle, type directly into your database. Follow up. It's all done. Do it once and get it done. Do not be writing on paper. Don't do
I
it.
did good. I put it in my phone notes, but I forget to go back to my notes.
Now, here's
But
the thing.
email is better.
Email is better, particularly depending on the CRM you're working on. Now, it's like my CRM has an app, but it's not great, but I can type directly into my CRM. I don't know if you can do that with command on an app, but if you can or can't, but send yourself an email. Just- Okay, so that's a different conversation, whatever your CRM is. But type directly in there, put your follow-up in there, boom, 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 right? Don't put this process where you've got to go from here to here to here to here to do it. Everybody's got a laptop, a phone, or an iPad. They've got something electronic. So you should be able to put your stuff directly in and move on, and put that follow-up in. Then when you come in on Monday morning, my day is set. I look at how many follow-ups I have. Right? I know exactly, my lead gen is laid out for me. Now I just got to go tackle it. Right? First, it's new leads to respond to. Then it's anything urgent. And then it's my tasks. Make sense? Make sense out there? Make sense in here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay? Get
Yeah.
away from paper.
For your follow-up in CRM, I mean, in Command, do you do it under tasks?
All right, let's have that conversation after. Okay?
I think Imani does.
Yeah.
Imani.
Now when I'm meeting with a client, I'm out and I may draw, I do a lot of writing with clients when I'm doing a consult, right? And then I'll take a picture of it and I'll just attach it to the file, to the record. So I have what I've talked about with them, because I give them, many times I give them a paper BBA to take home if they want to read it. And then I'll send them an electronic one to get it done. But so be proficient, whether you're using .loop or Remind or whatever else is out there anymore. Argox is gone. So, get proficient with using these tools so that you're doing this stuff one time. Any questions about that? So on the screen here, it talks about, wait, that's a little blocked. This doesn't align well with the fact that most of your potential customers are probably not ready to buy. At any time, 3% of your market is actively buying. I don't know if these statistics are accurate, but the point is, a smaller percentage are going to be ready today. 56% aren't, 40 might be beginning, right? But you've got to follow up so that when they fall into that, I'm ready to go. And sometimes that can turn on a dime, right? Some listing comes up, somebody gets one and goes, I know I said I wasn't going to do anything through the holidays, but I love this, I want to go see it. Right, so people are constant, right? Because they're not working on, well, I told Barry I'm gonna wait 2 months and now I'm gonna wait 2 months because it really wouldn't be fair to Barry. It's, I need, who's gonna solve my problem? Who's gonna service my issue, right? Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so we'll kind of wrap this up, unless people have questions. The key to this, what I have found, I've been selling real estate for 18 years, 19 and 60 days, and I've been in sales for 35 years. And I've been very successful in this because I don't let go of anybody. Anybody.
You know what?
I don't let go of anybody. Until they say, let me go. Now, when they say, let me go, they're gone. Next. I like people who opt out. It's one less person I have to spend energy and time. A no is as good as a yes. Okay? Don't look at it as a defeat, right? But 80% of your energy needs to be spent on generating leads and following up on leads in order to fill that pipeline and keep. That's the key to consistency as best as you can do it. And there'll be times where you're doing all that and your business is still imbalanced, because that's life and that's the market and that's the world and that's the economy and there are things out of your control. But if you do that consistently, you'll never be without somebody to follow up with. And there's plenty of opportunities to do that, to stay top of mind. So that when two people get into the business who are friends with my client, I now hope that they'll stay with me because I was there and I did my job. But if I disappeared, you don't think either one of them are going to get that client? Right? The moment I let go and stop saying hello and stop checking in, there's somebody else going, I got my license. And that's why I tell new agents, This is the key to your success. Everybody else's lack of doing this. I can't tell you how many deals I've done in my life with people who go, yeah, we had a great agent, never heard from them again. Can't remember their name. Never heard from them. Called them and they didn't call me back. Even did that. Right? Last thing I'm going to leave you with is a little time management skill or something. I had Michelle do this recently. Your voicemail is a time management tool. And if your voicemail says, hi, this is Barry with Keller Williams. I'm not here right now. Leave me a message. You're missing the boat. Okay? Because that does nothing. That has no follow-up. It has no power. It doesn't jolt. My message says, this is Barry with Keller Williams. I'm sorry I can't answer the phone right now. I return my calls at 12 and at 4. Right? And on the weekends at my convenience. I'm setting an expectation. When are you going to hear from me?
Between at 12 or at.
Not between, at 12 and at 4. Now, really, you'll hear from me whenever I can get to you, and usually it's a lot sooner than that. But your expectation is he returns his calls at 12 and at 4 o'clock. I've got 2 times to hear from him, right? Please leave me a message, and please leave the name of the person who referred you to me so I can thank them. All right, I can't. All my family go, I hate your message. It's so long. And I'm like, just hit pound and skip. You can do that? Yes, since like the days of a Nokia flip phone.
Yeah.
But okay, that's another thing. But the message is not for your friends and family. You can do that. Hit pound.
Bypass the message.
But not all phone carriers allow
Ring,
that.
maybe not all phone. Most of them can.
If you bypass my message.
No, well, some people will tell you that. Like if you call a doctor's office, it'll say next time you can bypass this message. But I don't want to do that, right? This is a tool for me. And my message is not designed for my mother or my sister or my friends. It's for people that call my business line. So I'm setting expectation. Use that tool. If you don't make calls on the weekends or take calls, or I change it. I'm on vacation. It says call Lisa. If I'm out for 3 days over Thanksgiving, I'm out of the office from Wednesday till Sunday. I'll be returning calls at my leisure, or if you need me urgently, text me. Right? We don't have to be on 24/7, answer the phone just because it rings. This is like a Pavlov bell. But every time it rings, we're like, must have real estate, must have real estate.
And can I say one more thing?
You can say anything you want because I'm done.
The reason why we think we have to be on 24/7 has nothing to do with our clients.
No.
It has everything to do with us and our expectations. I hear people, but no, because they don't know you from Adam. It's you. You're the only person who is recurring. You're the recurring decimal in that transaction. Where every client can do without you, that is you.
I will tell you this, if you have an iPhone, I will tell you, you can put on do not call or do not disturb. So my phone is on do not disturb from, I don't know, it's 9 to 8 or something in the morning. But you can put people on an exception list.
Yeah.
So my clients, when they're in the process, are on the exception list. I got to tell you, one of my most fun things to do is closing and then taking them off that list. Right? Now they can reach me the other, 14 hours in the day. But when they're in the process, I let them, because if they need something, right? Use that. Don't let your phone, it's another reason why to take a call at 11 o'clock at night and they sell $1 million piece of business, God bless. Okay, good for you. I'm not doing that. I'm not a slave to my business. And I control my business. My business doesn't control me. So there you go. Amen, sister. Adriana, and when she says something, let me tell you.
I came up very stern.
So look at your voicemail. If your voicemail is generic, if you use one of these, thanks for calling 77065, whatever, you don't even have a voicemail. You're really missing it. Branding, right? You got to pick a name. But tell them, I return my calls here and here. Brenda said something. That's okay. Anybody have any questions about that? This and a lot of other fun things will be brought to you throughout the year by me.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank you, Barry.
Yes.
Fortune is in the follow-up. My fortune is in the lack of your followers.
I love it. Thank you, Coach Barry.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir.
You know how to turn this off? I don't know.
Thank you, Barry.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for
Thank you.
listening.
Thanks, Barry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barry.
Questions? I returned my emails.
Hey, hey, Michelle.
Good. Thanks for coming, guys. You, sir, what was it that you didn't even know about?
The penalty.
No, he knows, he misunderstood what you were saying, because he knows about it. Yeah. I already told him, don't.
We're getting there.
All right.
And
Have you done a deal
And
yet?
then I said, could you at least wait until
You know where the Walmart is? No?
And every meeting that Jim Alexander has, he talks about home warranty.
Come stop by my office.
No. You stop right here. You make sure your buyer gets a home warranty paid for by the seller. No, it
Yeah.
is a contract. When you put your offer in, or you wanna
We'd like to know
read it, you
if,
don't have to ask anything.
the seller knows what.
When you get the inspection.
I'll let you know.
That's facing the wall.
I'll find something that the seller
That's just a
seller
bill.
will buy a 1-year home warranty.
I had a lady
for
call
the
me
buyer
yesterday
at
at
no
7,
cost to the
wanting
buyer.
to see a house because her agent was busy.
No,
She's
no.
thinking back and see if they can find somebody to show it to. Or, hey, here's the listing agent, I'd be glad to show it to you.
Okay.